This picture is one that you will see a lot of, and it's also here in hard copy form. We made it into a poster so that people can actually write the names of the people that are there, so we can have it for archiving and know who is there. So we will take it actually to the registration desk starting tomorrow morning, but we will have a Sharpie next to it, and you can add names to it as you see fit. So we have picked out a few, as you'll see, as you've seen in the slideshow earlier, and as you'll see in the award ceremony. But there's an equally old picture here for 1990 of the students that came there. So 1990 was the only year we had our official picture taken, and that was when we were at NCAR. I did some statistics for CEDAR, and CEDAR started officially in 1986, but it was preceded for 3 years by ground-based aeronomy, GBOA, ground-based aeronomy, optical aeronomy, right. And so that was actually directed more or less by Jerry, right? So in a sense, you were a chair for, instead of just 2 years, more like 5, because you did the 3 JBOA years and 2 CEDAR years. So we started off at NCAR. The first 2 years are at NCAR in 86 and 87, and we had 70 people the first time and about 7 students. So it started there, and it ramped up very fast the next year, so we were over 150, about 160, and it ramped up actually quite far up until 1993 when we had almost 400 people. And I don't know why we had 400 people in 1993. There was nothing particularly special about that year. 1995 is when we were with SCOSTEP. So I don't understand this peak in 1993, but it must have been a great year for us. I also put the students in red, and as you can see, the students are consistently approximately a third to a half of the total. And finally, I put in the undergrads in blue, and you can see that there has been a steady ramp up with them as well. We started counting how many people are new to the meeting, and that's in the asterisk. So, for example, we had 86 students who were new to CEDAR this year out of 152, so it's over 50% were new. This is their first year. But often that number is more like between, say, 30%. About 30% students are new. And you also have a certain number of new non-students, so the total is about 100 people this year, 105 are brand new to CEDAR. Out of, I think my last count was 384, and I don't know how many more we had walk-ins today, so it might actually go above 400 this year, and we might actually exceed our peak of 397 in 1993. The places we've been to have been NCAR, NIST with NOAA, where we had workshops at NCAR, University of Colorado, we're back to Math 100, and the Engineering Center. We went to Longmont, the Raintree Plaza Hotel. Then we went finally to Santa Fe and the El Dorado. We went to Utah for 1 year, Zermatt, and then back to New Mexico, and then back to Colorado.
Where next, Barbara?
Oh, next year is New Mexico, Santa Fe. We're going to be with GEM again. Our GEM year was 2005, but we were pretty much separate meetings in 2 different hotels, and we kept things separate. So you see there's not even a blip in 2005 that was what was going on. This blip in here actually is not because we moved to Longmont, but it was because we joined with SCOSTEP, as you'll see in this next one. This is the number of institutions that people came from. So 42 this year was about 78, 75 institutions. But this year of SCOSTEP, the first year we went to the Raintree Plaza Hotel, we almost doubled the number of institutions, and most of them were the foreign institutions. So that's what happened that year. That's that blip. And then meanwhile, we started out with 16 workshops our first year. This year we're actually at our peak, 25 workshops. Or no, 28, I think. That's 28 workshops. So that's something that we might be reducing in the future, but we had a lot of discussions of, well, we really need to have more workshop time, so we took it out of the plenary this year. And it is the peak. This is statistics on our posters. We didn't do posters the first year, but then we quickly got into doing posters, and you can see that the total number of posters and the student posters is really close in these years. That's because we didn't have a proper venue for the posters. So we could only show a relatively small number, like less than 40. And so we would routinely tell non-students, no, you can't do your poster because we need the space for a student poster. So we would favor the students. But then we increased the space, and you can see it immediately almost jumped double. And then it kind of went up and down. But there's been a steady increase in posters in both of them. And again, the undergrads, there was like 0 or 1 poster for many years, and then it started to go up. Last year was a peak with 22 posters presented by undergraduate students. And one more story on the logo. And the second logo that Joe Salah referred to is actually existent on a T-shirt. We managed to see the second logo on a T-shirt. I'll try and wear it sometime this week.